Hello, I'm Azai. Welcome back to Aokana. This has actually been about 6 days since I last played this game, so been quite a while. I still remember the last episode pretty clearly though, because it was a pretty intense episode. I even did a double episode for you guys on Patreon. But yeah, I skipped yesterday, which was Monday. But let me talk about my day before we, continue on with the story, shall we? I think like 2 episodes ago or something, you guys might have remembered that I was contemplating about why I kind of want to crush my opponents during like a competitive play, even though they're not really up to par with my level in terms of skill. And I compare it to something while like grinding in a JRPG where you just one-shot bosses, right? And I didn't really find an answer before, but yesterday, like a guy at the gym literally went all Karen on me, and he called the manager because he was uncomfortable because I was grunting while I was lifting my weights. And mind you, I wasn't even grunting all that much, right? He really just did not have any headphones or something, so that's why it was kind of making him uncomfortable. So the manager actually talked to me about it, and he was like super pleading about, that guy's been with us for so long, please don't bother him and stuff like that. The weird thing is that like even girls that were there, they didn't really say anything to me. They were just like minding their own business, right? But the reason why I brought this up is because those type of people, I actually feel like my perspective, or not perspective, my opinion of people in general is usually on the negative side, right? So those type of people I feel like are really common. And I could assure you, he most definitely have never lifted a weight so hard that he had to grunt. For sure. Because I'm not like grunting because I want to show off or anything like that. It's just a physiological response. I was just lifting like such heavy weights that I need to take in so much like oxygen to, kind of pump myself up for the exercise. But yeah, this ties into the whole like contemplation, because I feel like those type of people I want to try and stomp just so that they understand their position, And yeah, I really hate those type of people, I guess. That's why I kind of want to stomp them so much so that they learn their place. But I guess he's not really like confronting me directly. Like, I don't really care as long as people don't really bother me like on a personal level. If they just want me to tone it down or something, I guess when I am aware that he's there, I'll try to tone it down. But if he like does it again, and I did try to tone it down, I feel like that's not really my problem, But yeah, I kind of find the answer about what the hell is the difference between like me stomping on a JRPG boss and then just doing something on a competitive level, or like not really competitively, more like it's simply just to show people that you're not like supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for, like he could have solved this issue by just talking to me and then saying keep your voice down or something, right? But instead he actually went to the manager, which was baffling to me. Like, why? Is that really the first thing that people do? But yeah, I just really want people to be aware of their position. And yeah, I guess like I said, I just have a bad perspective about people in general. That's why sometimes I feel like I want to crush them just for my own ego, if that makes sense. But yeah, let's talk about the last episode recap. Sorry about my rant. That was actually quite a long rant. My bad. So on the last episode, we finished off the common route, I assume, and we also got the bad ending. The last episode was super like interesting to me personally because like Asuka's battle and Shindo, right? Yeah, I almost forgot his name. Shindo's battle was really, really good. What I did not like was actually who's the girl's name? Inui and Shindo's battle. Like I was reasoning out my like I was reasoning out and logically putting like what the hell is happening between Shindo and Inui. So basically Inui was steering Shindo so that he wasn't able to do any of his moves, etc, etc. And while that is interesting, it's not like passionate, right? It's not passionate, it's not cool, it's not flashy. I feel like that's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Anticlimactic, right? Shindo and Asuka's battle was just way more interesting in my opinion. And I feel like most matches should be like that because, you know, it's a match between two passionate people, and usually some stuff that would randomly not happen would happen. Like, you know, it's not scripted. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. It feels like Inui's battle with Shindo was like following a script, and I feel like that's not fun. But okay. We also got the bad ending like I said yesterday. Or sorry, not yesterday. Just now. So, I was contemplating on between Rika and Misaki, the route that we want to choose. The reason why I actually want Misaki to lose is, or actually no, the reason why I want Misaki to stomp on Rika, it's because Rika is the type of person that if she gets stomped, she actually becomes a better person, right? She has that grit, she has that tenacity to be able to get back from a place that's, you know, that's down low. Misaki, I feel like she can't really do it, but I do feel like she understands when she's being stomped. That's why she idolizes Shindo after she did lose to him. So both of them are pretty good people in my opinion. But I can't say so much about the rest of the people in real life. But yeah, I feel like I'm actually gonna do Misaki first. Simply because of the last chapter, really. I feel like Rika didn't play too much of a role in the last chapter. So let's do it. Come to practice. Completed chapter 6 of the common route. Oh, I guess we're gonna see the preview now. I got the achievement, Steam achievement. Don't drop your shoulders. Don't you look off into the distance. And don't you sigh at me. Just come back to our club. Misaki gives me a nasal laugh. Come back. She fills the silence by running both hands through her long hair. Oh, I forgot to mention that I actually saw, not really the description for both of the extra stories or extra games for this game. But extra 1 seems to be about Mashiro and the extra 2 seems to be about Misaki. So I think those games are actually just after stories, not really an expansion like a fan disc about other people's routes, which is kind of a shame. But there is another game that's in development called Aokana If. And that, surprisingly, is about Shirase-san's little sister, which I forgot the name of. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that, so I'll continue. I just took a look at the cover and that's what... And I guess I read the first sentence of the synopsis, but didn't really want to read anything past that. I literally just see after story of Misaki's route, after story of Mashiro, and then stopped. Didn't want to spoil myself. Did I actually narrate the last sentence? I hope I did. I can tell that smile on her face is meant to come across as somewhat mischievous. But how she feels behind it is plain as day. It's an emotion separate from sadness, loneliness, or anger. It's far more muddled and far more difficult to put into words. Wait. Why can't I tell how Misaki feels? Misaki laughs dryly in an attempt to fill the silence, but it's soon drowned out by the roaring waves. After the last chapter, don't you feel like that Misaki is actually a lot more similar to Masaya rather than Asuka? Asuka probably shares the same joy as flying as old Masaya, but I do think after seeing that the reason why we denied Asuka's request, or when we denied her route, it does feel like Masaya knows his own limits, right? And that Asuka's probably gonna get way better than her, or him. And she's probably even gonna get better than Misaki, to be honest. Seriously, you better come back. You're not just gonna let the summer tournament be the end of things, are you? She glances over at me and forces another smile.
マサヤってそんなに積極的だった？そんな顔をして肉食系？もしかして私は食べられちゃうとか？
Of course I'm not.
わけないんだ。意外と美味しいかもよ。
I mean, in the bad end, Prez did say that I should be a lot more assertive. Sorry to say, but I'm not a huge fan of fatty meats.
私の肉質はそんなんじゃない。ちゃんと赤身でキュッと締まってる。
Really? I'm pretty sure those love handles would make you look like marbled meat. Misaki shakes her head furiously, messing up her hair.
そんなわけない。失礼すぎる。
Man, how can you look at her body and says she's fat? God, there is something definitely very wrong with anime, dude. Anyway, getting back on topic. Well, then again, I guess in real life, Japanese people don't really have trouble with weight management in general, because their food are just so good. Like the way everything is labeled in terms of calories and nutrition values. Misaki stomps her feet on the sand and interjects.
どうでもよくない。傷ついた。冗談だとしてもちゃんと否定して。
I'll take it back if you come to practice again.
はあ。なんだかな。マサヤはどうしてそんなに部活に来てほしいわけ？
Why? I lose my train of thought. Having not considered she might ask me something so basic. Misaki's incredible look of displeasure makes me start panicking even though there's no reason for me to worry. I don't even know why you're asking that.
困っちゃうんだ。
He said, you're troubled. Not that you don't there. No. Wouldn't all coaches want their members to turn up to practice? There's no special reason.
コーチとしてね。
Misaki draws circles in the sand with the tip of her foot. You saying there's something else to it? If you've got something to say, then spit it out.
いや別に。はあ。
Don't you not really me? Then sigh while looking off into the distance.
マサヤはどうしてコーチをしてるの？
This again? You're the one who conned me into becoming your coach, remember?
仕組んだってほどのことじゃないでしょう。あの時はそうした方が面白いかなって、そう思っただけのことだってば。
So then, was it fun?
面白かったよ。気づいてもらわないと面倒だから一応言うけど、過去形ね。
I see.
あのさ。
Yeah?
あのさ、コーチってそんなに真面目にやるようなこと？
Why does she even have to ask that question? What's up with that question?
いいから答えてよ。答えてほしいから質問してるんだって。
Honestly, I'm not sure. Misaki stares at me, seemingly surprised by my answer.
わかんないんだ。
Yeah, I really don't know. The more you think about what you need to take seriously or what you don't, the less you know.
わかんないのにやってるのか。
Misaki gives me a small, sad smile.
最近マサヤはアスカに影響されてたから、はっきりと何か理由を言うんだと思ってた。
Like what?
わかっていれば質問なんかしない。
Well, yeah, but that's not exactly an easy question to answer, is it?
そうかもね。
What? Jeez.
なんでもないよ。
There's a hazy silence as we try to work out what the other really means. Waves crash against the shore so loudly that it's like they're breaking against my ears directly. Blocking out those waves makes me notice a sound coming from within me. It's the pounding of my heart. I feel like it's beating quicker than usual. Unable to take the silence any longer, Misaki speaks up.
なんか言ってよ。
Come to practice.
言うことはそれだけ？
Honestly, I know there's something more I should say. I know exactly what it is Misaki wants me to say, and what she doesn't want me to say. Most likely, they're the exact same thing. About Shindo-san, about Inui, and most importantly, about Asuka. I know I have to say something. And yet, the words don't come to me. They remain stuck so far down that they may as well be in my feet.
ねえ、素直に答えてよ。
Answer what?
私とアスカはどっちが強い？
You, of course.
そうだね。私が勝つね。じゃあ2試合目はどう？ 3 試合目はどうかな？
Well, right now, he's not technically lying. You'd probably win.
じゃあ質問を変える。
She flashes me an almost evil smile.
私がアスカに勝てるのは何試合目まで？黙ってないでさ。答えてもいいんだよ。
Suddenly sad music. Her previous smile changes to a more mocking one. Depends on how the two of you do. You must know no one can answer that question.
アスカの方が絶対に私より早く上手になるよ。
I'm telling you, we can't know that before it happens.
そのくらい私だってわかるって。
No, you don't.
わかる。
I feel like this is the genius dilemma where, you know, like, when you find someone that's clearly gonna be better than you, you either, like, your fight and flight response is kicking in, right? You either challenge them and try to beat them, or maybe you might just give up like what Misaki is doing right now. I feel like this is definitely more of an issue for people who are good at something, right? But, you know, that's why I'm honestly very appreciative that I am not really good at something. If I'm good at something, it's because I put in the work for it, not because I'm, like, gifted or anything. I put in time and effort into it. I feel like most prodigies don't really appreciate that sometimes. Well, Asuka's a different case. Like, this girl, most prodigies are not like Asuka, you know? Asuka's a hard worker, but she's also a prodigy, but she's too perfect, man. This is why she's an anime girl. I don't know what Asuka has, whether it's natural talent, keen intuition, or just the ability to learn quickly. Then again, Misaki is also an anime girl. She picked things up way too easily. But whatever she's got it in spades. So if like Misaki is a 1%er or 0.1%er in the world, who's just good at anything that she does, Asuka's like the 0.0001%. That's just how rare these guys are. What I heard from her observations of Shindo-san in Inui's match convinced me of that. And Misaki must have noticed it too. A terrifying feeling overcomes me. I want to scream, but I can't. It's a feeling I've experienced at some point in the past. Oh. That's right. A dull pain spreads from the depth of my brain. My chest feels like it's being twisted and crushed.
Masayo, どうかしたの?
The way Misaki's acting is all too familiar, so my memories come flooding back.
Masayo?
Memories of that frustrating day. I think Misaki probably feels the exact same way right now. And because I know that, I can't think of anything to say.
どうしたの? 大丈夫?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
そう?
Misaki seems to doubt my words, but I continue on anyway. Come to practice, Misaki. I think it's better to try and do something about a problem than brood on it. You never know what will happen if you try. Very hypocritical of you, Messiah. I always say hypocritical for some reason. She breathes a short sigh of what sounds like relief.
そうかもね。気が向いたら行く。今日の話し合いはこれで終わりでいいよね。
If that's what you want.
私はもう行くね。
Come to practice tomorrow.
はいはーい。
Leaving me with a, shall we say, less than heartfelt response, Misaki walks off toward the road. My chest aches. It's difficult to breathe. I turn toward the sky in search of help, seeking an escape from the pain and misery. But of course, I find no reply. All I get is a powerful sea breeze against my skin, and an empty void left by Misaki.
FC なんかしてるんだろう。これをやる意味って何かな。楽しく飛びたいだけだったのにな。こんなことして傷ついて、自分にがっかりしてみんなをがっかりさせて、この先に何があるんだろう。次回青の彼方のポーリズム第7話。私 FC をやめるから。彼方の向こうに何かが見える。
I don't think Messiah is gonna let you, Misaki. Messiah is not gonna make the same mistake, or he's not gonna make you feel the same way as him, basically, I feel. Wind blows from the sea. Whenever the sea is colder than the shore it meets, the temperature difference makes the air move inland. That's wind. This phenomenon is often called sea breeze. The reverse, land breeze, exists as well. Sand whirls under the gusts of wind. Pretty strong winds. I raise a hand to shield my eyes as I narrow them and stare down at the sand. Huh? The wind tickles at the back of my neck and... Huh? I'm thrown back to when I was still playing in the junior leagues. A boy I don't recognize flies by my side. The memory is so vivid that it's like I'm in the moment. But why? The breeze blows again. That must be it. I remember. Back when I was still playing FC, I had hair so long you'd mistake me for a girl. It went right down to my shoulders. I love how my hair would cling to the membrane, then come unstuck and flutter in the wind. I actually do like the same feeling that Messiah is saying right there, but I just do not like long hair simply because it's such a hassle to take care of. You also have to put in some conditioner and whatnot. Because I have naturally curly hair if you let it like grow too far or too long. That's why I prefer to just bowl cut, or not even bowl cut, like clean shave my head now, like a freaking monk. I do it once a month, but now I've been doing it just once a week. I raise a hand to the back of my neck. I used to love the feel of my hair tickling me here. My hair would always tickle me here when I played FC. That's why I love playing. My parents and Aoi-san would tell me to cut it short. But that was the reason I never listened. I keep my hand on the back of my neck and look up at the sky. This is the place. The memories come flooding back, one after the other. I relive my youth in my mind. Aoi-san taught me everything I needed to know about flying. I took her techniques, mastered them, and made them my own. It was so much fun, like I was getting closer to her the more I played. Matches were fun. Practice was fun. Flying itself was fun. Everything about FC was fun. Oh, that's Shirase-san's little sister there. I guess I can kind of see why she would like Messiah if she were watching him from such an early age. But that wasn't all. I was unrivaled. My only losses came when I was still a complete beginner. After a while, the thought of losing didn't even cross my mind. I won, and oh how I won. I was the sort of kid who started bawling in frustration if my victory didn't come exactly the way I wanted it to. I knew I could even stand toe-to-toe with those in the classes above me. Hell, I even believed I could face professional skywalkers on equal footing. But my hubris would come back to haunt me before long. I wonder if we get this scene if we go to another route. I'm actually interested in knowing, but I won't know until I'm done with this route, of course. Many long, sleepless nights were had by the time of the World Championships. I was the prodigal apprentice of the world-famous Skywalker, Aoi Kagami, unmatched in my age bracket throughout Japan. Or at least, that's what everyone was saying. All I ever wanted to do was fly for fun. But the more I won, the more my reason for flying became to live up to people's expectations. It was overwhelming. I was crushed under the weight of the support and expectations alike. Okay, I guess this is kind of understandable. That's why Aoi-san said before that his mental fortitude sadly did not, you know, go as fast or grow as fast as his skills. This is a pretty common, like, experience. Not just in anything that you excel in. Something like, you know, like just you living, supporting your family and stuff like that. I can understand the feeling. Perhaps, if I just talked to Aoi-san about it, I could have sorted things out. Perhaps she could have taught me a way to deal with the pressure. If nothing else, I know she would have listened to everything I had to say. And that may have been enough to sort things out in itself. However, it was a really important time for Aoi-san. She was aiming for the very top. I couldn't bring myself to bother her with my petty issues. I wanted to fly for fun. I should have been flying for fun. But sooner or later, I no longer knew if I really was. And then, on one summer's day, I finally crumbled. I gently closed my eyes. My chest hurts. My heart's pounding like a drum, lungs constricted. My body's crying out for oxygen, so I desperately try to drag air into my lungs. My blood needs more oxygen, that's why my heartbeat is accelerating. And as a result, I'm panting for breath, struggling to keep up. I try and do what my body demands of me, but I can feel it breaking down. I know something's happening. I know that now, and I knew it back when I was the so-called prodigy kid. My opponent is bearing down on me. Fear consumes my entire being. It's a boy I've never met before. He said he came over from the mainland to visit his grandmother, since it's summer break. The boy came across as overly friendly and, upon seeing me practicing alone, suggested that we have a match. His flying style was awkward, and he made far too many unnecessary movements. So I thought to myself, why not? And went along with it. I annihilated him in the first match. The second went much the same. But in the third match, he scored a point on me. By the fourth match, I was afraid. I locked eyes with the boy as he caught up to me. Doesn't sound like Asuka. This has gotta be a girl, right? There's no way this is not a girl. He grinned. Then again, Japanese people like to voice kids with female voice actors, so I can't really say that. How do you catch up to me? I'm not the kind of player who wins through speed, but I should be way faster than a beginner. How is this guy flying so well now when he was wobbling all over the place a few hours ago? What's more, I bumped into him from the side and made him lose his balance, but he quickly regained his positioning and caught up to me again. That happened several more times, and each time he brushed it off as it were nothing. Was he just going easy on me those first two matches? It's a possibility, but I doubt it. If he's finally decided to go all out, the difference in his playstyle would be like day and night. Usually it's night and day. However, he seems to be gradually improving with every minute he spends up in the air. There's also one thing I know for sure. He's like me. This guy is copying how I fly. I know I have good form. I can maintain a good amount of speed while keeping perfect balance. The reason I'm so confident in my flying is because I've watched the videos Aoi-san's taken of me countless times. But how can he do this? Sweat is clinging to my back, making it feel as if I'm bathing in oil. The boy grins at me again. What? You think this is funny? I grunt as I dive diagonally. I attempt to accelerate into a low yo-yo to shake him off, but he matches me perfectly. He doesn't sound like Asuka, but you never know. Fun. This is fun? I feel something inside of me die. We're flying in the same airspace, engaging in the same competition. I might as well be fighting for my life. But this guy is enjoying it. At that moment, I realized something was happening. Not winning or losing, but something far more important. A prickling feeling in my chest. The premonition that something's about to collapse. Fun? This kid. He thinks this is fun? People often say they burst a blood vessel when they're angry. And at this point, I think I finally understand why. My head started to boil, like every blood vessel inside it has burst at once. Don't fuck with me. Fun? This is fun to you? I can't let myself lose as someone who can fly with an emotion I'm no longer capable of in their heart. I got here through blood, sweat, and tears. I got here by sacrificing the ability to have fun. I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. Like, perfecting your craft is something that you should always aim to do, but never sacrifice the fun aspect of it. Unless, you know, you're a professional. Because at that point, your job depends on it, right? If I lose to some guy who actually finds this fun, then I'll lose everything I stand for. I've gotta crush him. And with that thought, I lean forward to accelerate. Is this Misaki? Does this look like Misaki? It could be. The boy says that as he finally overtakes me. But maybe I'm like grasping at straws. Maybe this is not Misaki. For a moment, the world grinds to a halt. And when it finally comes alive again, I'm blinded by pure white. It's almost like I'm flying through milk. Another man is flying through this white void with me. For a split second, I mistake him for Aoi-san. But no, that's not Aoi-san. That's me, in the future. This future me sails on past me. I go numb. I have no sense of where my limbs are. All I can feel is my heart, which is beating so fast that I feel ready to keel over. However, my heart isn't pumping blood through my veins. It's something darker and stickier, which feel almost corrupted. I've lost all that's mattered to me. I've come to a realization. I can't fly anymore. There's no way I can. I mean, I just saw the future me. I'll become someone I don't want to be. So there's no need for me to fly. No, I can't fly. There's just no point. Because, while I'm here unable to fly for fun, the future me is enjoying every moment. I feel sick. I leave the field over the ocean, my limbs trembling much like the first time I flew. I roll across the ground, practically crash landing as I touch down in the sand. Sand gets into my mouth, which I instantly spit out. If I'd stayed in that match, I would have won. I was better than that kid in every single way. But if we'd kept playing, eventually he would have surpassed me. Jumbled thoughts spin around in my head. I think Messiah has an issue where, you know, he keeps winning too many times and his ego got super inflated, right? The reason why this is such a shocker to him is because he kept winning without having a rival, like, you know, to just become competitive with. And when he actually does find a rival, he actually went on a meltdown instead of what do you call it, like instead of trying to make it as motivation, he just instantly broke down, yeah. Which is, I guess, understandable as a kid. This is why you should always never, like, be too overconfident with your capabilities. Like, you know the saying, right? There's always something, or what's the saying? There's something higher than the clouds or something like that, right? I don't know the actual idiom in English, sadly. What the hell is this? How many years did I work to get to this point? Day after day, I flew and I flew, all to get here. Yeah, some people do that every single day and there's still someone better than them, Messiah. And yet, he managed to outspeed me, to fly right past me. He turned me into a vision of myself in the future. So in that case, I have no reason to fly. I'm done with this shit. I keep thinking the exact same things over and over again. I hate this. I'm so frustrated. But it's not like normal. Any other time, I can use frustration as a springboard. I use the frustration to push myself to do better. But not this time. Talent. That's all it is. I feel something hot passing through my mouth, down my throat, and dissolving in my stomach. Talent. That's what beat me. Talent lets someone reach the point I fought for years to attain in a single moment. We're made of completely different stuff. It's not like I've done anything wrong, and it's not like I haven't put in enough effort. I might beat him today, but he's sure to beat me tomorrow. Now faced with this reality, I can't keep playing FC.
どうしたの？試合は？
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely something that a child would only think. Personally, as a, well, I wouldn't say I'm an adult, like in terms of mind yet. As an older person who has come into terms with how the real world works, you just accept that there's always gonna be someone better than you. Like, you're gonna strive to beat that one person that's at the top, but if you can't beat them, that's okay. Like, you don't have to necessarily be perfect in the world.
もういい。試合はしない。どうして？
The voice says sharply, clearly dissatisfied. I get why. Anyone would be mad if someone told them they suddenly had to stop having fun. I get it, but at the same time, I don't want to be the first stepping stone in his path to success. Wow, this guy is actually such an asshole. Wow, this kid is actually an asshole. So basically, the thing that stopped him from, you know, not wanting to play FC anymore is so that this guy doesn't become better than him. I don't want to be turned into some minor part of his grand life story. That's not how I truly feel. If I didn't say that, if I didn't think it, if I didn't reject FC itself, I wouldn't have been able to keep going. Being good or bad at FC doesn't matter to me. I had to convince myself of that, or I would have lost myself and vanished completely. I can feel the boy's icy gaze staring down at me. It's like a dagger that's piercing straight through me. Right into something inside me. Something precious. Perhaps one would call it a soul. My chest hurts so bad that I want to cry. Did I cry on my way home? Was I just angry all the way? Perhaps I just felt empty. I don't remember anything after I left. Well, that's not exactly true. I do remember one thing. My determination to give up on FC. The next thing I knew, all my magazines and certificates were torn to shreds in front of my eyes. The cliché says that you snap the heads off trophies, but mine were broken clean in two. I destroyed everything I owned that related to FC, like I was trying to crush any hope I still had inside me. I was pretty young at the time. No kid would have remained calm after being shown a vision of their future self by some stranger. Maybe. I mean, I don't know. As a kid, I never really pursue anything as hard as this guy, I think. So, I wouldn't understand your feelings like at all, Messiah. The current me, though, would have for sure, like, used that other kid as motivation. But I don't know what I would have done if I was much younger. Like, I'm not the same person as I used to be. That's the thing. But if that happened to me now, then perhaps. There's no point thinking about that now. It all ended back then. Why even bother with what ifs now? It should have been a closed chapter in my life. But I still feel something squirming around in my chest. A dark, muddled feeling. I clenched the part of my shirt that's covering my heart. Why am I coaching FC? Why do I still cling to something I should have thrown away? I'm overcome with nausea. What the hell am I doing? How can I be so carefree about being a coach? What exactly do I even want? I faced the sea and opened my mouth wide, but somehow managed to stop before I scream. This isn't the sort of feeling you can shout out of you, anyway. Whatever's clinging to the inside of my throat isn't something I can force away. I stand motionless amid the ever-strengthening winds. My defeat came directly at the hands of that boy, but Misaki's came indirectly through watching Asuka's losses. I don't know whose shoes I'd rather be in. It's probably affecting Misaki worse, though it's eating away at me a fair bit as well. Despite my frustration, I can't even bring myself to kick the sand in anger. I think I said this, but I probably like Misaki's theme the most out of everyone else's. It's so nice to hear this song for some reason. It's like super playful. Misaki places her hands on the desk, feigning a move to the left, then ducking to the right, and repeating the process over. Eventually, she makes a dash for it, leaving Asuka in the dust. Got it. What, are you guys playing, like, tag? Misaki bounces on her heels, swinging left and right to provoke me. I don't think this is how tag works. Maybe they're just trying to plan to catch Misaki for some weird reason. What the? She has shadow clone jutsus. She's like a boxer trying to egg on her opponent. Don't you think it's time you gave up on running away? Misaki does her best Satoin-san impression as she slides a chair across the floor toward me. Whoa! Dodging the chair throws me off course. Cheh! Madoka! I'm guessing we're gonna try to force her to come to the club room or something like that. Misaki comes to a sudden halt. Then, she makes a sound that I can only assume she's basing off a monkey. Misaki crouches down before whipping up a hand to smack the candy out of Madoka's palm. This is followed by a splendid leap into the air where she catches the candy bar before touching the ground. What the fuck? I actually got a achievement for that. Why? That's so weird. I lie in wait at the front door while Asuka's guarding the one at the back of the classroom. Now, you've got no way to escape the classroom. Misaki hasn't come to practice all week, and today's the last day of this term. It's bad enough that there's a bunch of stuff we have to tell her about our summer practice sessions, but her lack of responsibility is affecting our morale. Use of force is the only option we have left. Yesterday, we tried to simply bring her along with us, but she ran away. So today, we set up a plan to ensnare her. You don't need to do that. A debt manager can be easily replaced. Asuka, being able to concentrate the way you do is one of your strengths. There's no need to change that part of you at all.
私の命がかかってるのにもう一声とな。明日から夏休みですし、ミーティングだけでも参加しませんか？
What about Mashiro, I wonder? Does she actually come even if Misaki's not coming? In the scene we saw before with Rika, she did come even though Misaki wasn't there, so maybe she is still coming. It's the least you could do. We need to start working on our plan for the fall tournament.
そうだよ。美咲はうちのエースなんだから、ちゃんと自覚を持ってもらわないと。エースね。
Misaki grins, taking several steps back on her tiptoes.
私にはそういうの重荷だな。
She opens the window and leans out.
そんじゃ、またね。
Man, what floor are we on?
美咲、まさかグラッシュを窓の外に隠してた？
Alright, we do have those.
指定された場所以外でグラッシュを使うのは校則違反ですよ。わかってるわかってる。鏡先生に怒られちゃうしね。よっ。
With that, Misaki jumps out of the window. Hold it! I rush over just in time to see Misaki landing perfectly like a cat, then sprint off. She makes her escape without ever looking back.
逃げられちゃったね。
I never thought she'd actually fly out the window.
美咲ちゃんすごい運動神経ですね。
Yeah. The way she ran was just like one of those short distance runners.
靴底にバネが仕込んであるみたいに見えるね。あんなに全力で逃げられるとなんだか気持ちいいよ。
You think you'd feel great? Asuka breathes a heavy sigh beside me. It's not your fault she escaped, Asuka. There's nothing to feel down about.
そういうことじゃなくて、私も美咲ちゃんみたいな運動神経があればよかったのになって思ったんです。
You have your own strong points. No one's good at everything.
でもやっぱり羨ましいです。あんなに綺麗に体を動かせたらきっと楽しいです。
I do think it's something that you can practice over time, Asuka.
そうかな。美咲自身は別に楽しいと思ってないんじゃないかな。どうしてですか？あんな風に走れるのに楽しくないなんて。楽しいとか楽しくないとかじゃなくて、美咲は何にも考えてないんだと思うよ。だって努力しなくてもああいう風に走れるんだから。
Really? I don't know. I feel like doing something that's fun can, make you push past your limits. Personally.
努力しなくてもあんな風に走れるなんてとっても楽しいんじゃ。
Really? I don't think so. Not having to put any effort in anything sounds really meh. What the fuck?
ただただ普通に歩くだけのこと、楽しいとか楽しくないとかは考えないでしょ。それと一緒。そうですか。楽しくないんですか。
Asuka tilts her head to the side, still not really getting it.
美咲はあれが普通だから。せいぜいどうしてみんな私みたいにできないんだろうと思ったりするぐらいだと思うよ。
To some degree, I actually feel the same way as what Madoka's saying here. So, I'm not the type to really compare myself to anyone else in anything that I do, right? So, that's also the reason why anything that I do is like the baseline of what I feel like is just normal. So sometimes when I actually find someone that doesn't do what I think is normal, I feel like that they're below average. Because I always set the baseline as myself, right? I never say that I'm good at anything or anything like that. But I do think that people that are not as good as me is like below average. Really bad thing to have though. It's like a pretty bad mindset to have.
それも嫌味とかじゃなくて素の疑問でね。あれを普通だと認識しちゃうなんて、美咲ちゃんはすごいです。そういうことではなくてね。あれ、もしかして私また変なこと言ってます？
Nah, it's fine. Just keep that positivity up and let's get going.
はい、わかりました。
後美咲先輩に逃げられちゃいました？
I turn around and see Mashiro standing right at the entrance.
おっす、マシロッチ。その通り、逃げられちったよ。
She flew from the window to the ground, then legged it.
すごい運動神経でした。
Mashiro sighs as she approaches us.
飛び降りるとはまた無茶なこと。はあ、それでも無事だったとは、さすが私の美咲先輩です。
I mean, you guys got graph shoes. Depending on what floor this is, that is super dangerous still, though.
いつの間に美咲はマシロッチのものになってたの？
いずれそうするという予定です。はあ、それでここに来るまでぼんやり考えていたんですけど、逃げられてよかったと思いますよ。
その真意は？
美咲先輩ってなかなか真白ラブになってくれないところを見てもわかるように頑固なところありますからね。
Not sure that's the best indicator to measure her personality with.
まあ頑固なとこがあるのはその通りだと思うよ。負けず嫌いですしね。ドッグファイトの練習をしてる時とか1点でも取られたら本当に悔しそうにしていますよね。
I guess the way she just does whatever during practice is because of her stubbornness too.
ですからしばらく放流というか好きなようにさせておくのがいいと思います。押せばより頑固になるだけだと思いません？
でもさ、美咲の性格をそこまで理解してるのにマシロッチはどうしてグイグイ押すわけ？
その程度のことでやめられるような愛じゃないからです。美咲先輩にグイグイ行くのをやめたら私は私じゃなくなります。
So you're actually aware of what you're doing?
美咲先輩は夏の大会からまだ立ち直ってないんですから、そっとしておきましょうよ。
それだけ美咲ちゃんは本気で試合してたってことですよね。
That's what you'd expect. Misaki isn't simply going through her frustrations of losing, though.
美咲先輩がやる気になるまで温かく見守っていればいいのです。
Not everyone is that strong, sadly, Mashiro, that they'd be able to pick themselves back up.
美咲ちゃんのことをよく知っているましろちゃんがそう言うならそうなんでしょうね。
I personally would do what Mashiro is doing.
でもさ、見守るのはいいんだけどずっとやる気にならなかったらずっと見守ってるのかな。
Not sure, Madoka. I'm not Messiah, so... I personally don't care whether or not Misaki comes back.
ずっとやる気にならないなんてそんなことないですよ。多分
このままやめちゃうってことも意外とあるかもよ。
Sudden sad music once again. That could happen.
コージ、
そんなこと絶対にないですってば。
In any case, the only one who can make that happen is Misaki herself. We can't force her to participate.
それはそうですけど。
Asuka hangs her head sadly. We just have to have our meeting without her today. Come on, let's get to the club room.
だね。
美咲先輩には後から私が伝えておきますね。
Hmm? We all start making our way out of the classroom. All of us except Asuka, who keeps staring out the window. What's up?
美咲ちゃんってやっぱりすごいですね。
What's so amazing about skipping practice? She's just playing hooky.
だけということはないと思います。だって部に来る方が精神的に楽じゃありませんか？
It would? You think?
部活に参加していれば目標に近づいてるって思います。練習をせずに結果と向き合う方が辛いと思いませんか？
What? I don't get what Asuka's trying to say here. Facing her problems is good, yes, but not everyone actually wants to face their problem. A lot of people actually choose escapism, Asuka. Huh. Well, Asuka's not wrong. It would be easier for Misaki to come to practice. I even told Misaki it would be better for her to keep moving.
美咲ちゃんは真剣に向き合って何かを見つけようとしてるんでしょうか。
I don't know. Maybe? I personally think she's just trying to escape from FC so that it doesn't bother her mind. I don't think that's quite it. She's not trying to find something. It's more like she's trying to run away from it. Yeah, what the fuck, Asuka? Her mind works in very mysterious ways, is what I think. Just like I did back then. The longer you run, the more accustomed you grow to the pain. Eventually, it becomes natural, and you don't even have to think about it. I try placing myself in Misaki's shoes. The thoughts soon lead me into remembering how I used to feel. It hurts too much, so I wipe it from my mind. Gotta keep in mind though, just because Misaki knows how you feel, everyone is different, right? People react to different situations by acting differently depends on their personality, how they got raised by their parents, etc, etc. Lots of factors actually, you know, to determine what course of action a person will take, even though they're facing the same sort of situation. Is Misaki here? Mashiro's face warps with displeasure. That's your only reason for being here? It's been a week since the start of summer break, which means it's been about 2 weeks since the summer tournament ended. Misaki hasn't shown up to practice once yet. I've said this before, but we can't force her to come to practice. If she doesn't want to come, then that's that. I still hate this part of you, Mashiro. Not sure that's something to be proud of. At least they're a perfect match in one regard. Pretty sure she just run away from here. Say that Misaki does listen to me. What do I even say? Well, yeah, obviously. But assuming she says she doesn't want to come, how do I respond? I think you're living in imaginary land, Asuka. If that's truly what you think of Misaki, the fuck? It's got nothing to do with that. If she had that motivation, she'd be here already, wouldn't she? If she can't bring herself to at least do that, then it's basically the same as having no motivation. I guess she doesn't really think that herself. She's just trying to, you know, look at things a lot more positively, being optimistic. But like I said, being too optimistic is just living in fantasy land, Asuka. Madoka claps her hands together. How was I bullying her? I was just speaking the truth.
あんたのことだからってアスカちゃんを責めるような口調になっちゃダメだよ。
Ugh. So that's how it came across, huh? Sorry, Asuka. I didn't mean it like that. Asuka hurriedly shakes her head.
私の方こそ何も考えずに喋っていたと思います。それにしても兄ちゃんと美咲がいないと練習が単調になっちゃうよね。
Yeah. Now that the summer tournament's over, Press has retired and basically never shows up at club. Why? Is he like trying to get into college? I know a lot of my like when I was in like my choir club, a lot of the seniors that have already graduated still comes to teach us. So I don't know why this guy isn't coming to the school again. Or, you know, the club room. Having him as a pure speeder and Misaki as a pure fighter was really useful for practice. I was able to arrange all sorts of scenarios to teach them tactics to use in real matches, such as what to do when a speeder draws ahead of you, or how to avoid engaging a fighter in a dogfight.
少しの間、兄ちゃんに戻ってきてもらう？
Well, he is still the president for the time being. I may have succeeded him in the role itself, but all of us still consider him the president, even now.
ごめんなさい。私がもっと上手だったら。
What are you apologizing for?
だって私が美咲先輩やアスカ先輩くらい強ければ練習に幅ができるし切磋琢磨できますよね。でも今の私だとアスカ先輩の足を引っ張るだけで。そんなことないです。そんなことないです。私はまだまだましろちゃんに追いついたとさえ思ってないです。
Mashiro did beat Asuka in the practice matches before the summer tournament, for whatever that's worth.
進藤さんとあんな試合をした人にそんなこと言われても。あれは夢中だったから、自分でも信じられないくらいですから。
Yeah, she pulled an anime move, a shonen protagonist move right there. Asuka learned a lot during the summer tournament. Mashiro learned some stuff in her match with Satoin-san as well, but nowhere near as much.
やっぱり兄ちゃんを召喚しよっか。喜んできてくれると思うよ。
He's gotta focus on studying for his entrance exams. We can't just ask him to give up time for us.
別にいいと思うけど、勉強するぞーとうなりながら筋トレしたり、ダラダラと死闘チャンネルを見てるだけだし。
Yeah, I hear the strangest part about like colleges or university in Japan is that it's actually a lot harder to get into the university than, you know, once you get in and then you're just like smooth sailing. It's basically an elevator. You're like almost guaranteed to graduate. So it's actually super hard from what I know to get into university in Japan. But yeah, once you get into it, you're actually gonna be... It's almost guaranteed that you're gonna like graduate. Super weird. He's totally gonna flunk his exams, isn't he? I'll ask him to help out if we really need it. But in the meantime, we can just drill in the basics.
また基礎ですか
No complaining. The basics are important.
綺麗な姿勢で飛べるようになるのって楽しいですよ。
Being a speeder makes your form all the more important, Mashiro.
分かってますってば。お二人はいつも前向きで正しいことばかり言うんですから。
Can't deny that the basics are usually boring. But even in something like what I do, which is like weightlifting, you always do the same sort of movements most of the time anyway. Come on, we'll start with field flying to warm up.
はい。フライ。行くにゃんと。
The two of them say their activation keys and take off.
ねえ、ひなたくん。
Yeah?
正直、アスカちゃんとマシロッチの二人じゃ練習に限界があるでしょ。実力差も結構あるし。
Well, you're not wrong. I keep facing forward but nod. As things stand, Asuka would be a decent match for Misaki, which would really add that spark to practicing. However, if Asuka and Masha only have each other to practice with, Masha is gonna get discouraged due to the skill gap, and Asuka is gonna feel bad and start performing poorly because of it. There are basically no advantages to how things stand. I'm planning on setting up joint practice sessions with other schools, so we'll just have to use those to make up for actual match practice. What about Rika? I thought that she was still going to join us even though we are not going to be her coach. I feel something up in the sky. Aoi-san soon lands beside me with a soft thud. I wouldn't say properly exactly. Not like we can just force her to come after all. She won't listen to us.
飛沢は少しぐらい強く言われたがってるかもしれないぞ。
それはどうですかね。美咲は干渉されるの嫌いですから。
I would say that sometimes people do just need to get that little bit of push from an outside source. I personally don't think that I would be swayed by other people's, persuasion. But I don't doubt that a lot of people actually want to be persuaded.
好きな男が相手なら話は別だろ。
Give me a break. This is a serious situation.
いやいや、ありえるかもよ。乙女のアンテナがその可能性ありと受信しました。
Is your radar busted?
感度良好だよ。失礼な。
Aoi-san smiles slightly at our exchange before suddenly fixing up her expression.
私にはわからないが、マサヤにならわかるんじゃないのか。
Understand what?
飛沢が来なくなった理由に決まってたろ。
Because she's in shock from what happened at the summer tournament.
その先の話だよ。
Oh?
同じく飛ばなくなった者同士だろ。
Misaki hasn't said anything about quitting yet.
まだな。そうなる前にマサヤにならできることがあるんじゃないかとふと思っただけだよ。
You seriously believe that? Aoi-san looks over at the field as if to change the topic.
倉下はここ2週間で随分伸びたな。飛行姿勢がだいぶ綺麗になった。
Yeah, it is.
スピーダーを相手にスピード勝負をしてもいい勝負ができるんじゃないか？
I do, yes. We won't know for sure until we test things out. But Asuka is probably best suited to be a speeder leaning all-rounder, much like Shindo-san. Though if she masters the air kick turn, she'll have all the makings of a perfect fighter. It falls down to her coach to decide which direction to head in. Aoi-san continues to stare at their practice session for a moment. Then, she hums to herself as if she's come to an understanding. What?
練習試合の予定は入れてるんだろうな。
I've decided on a few so far. If you want the details, then feel free to ask Madoka.
スマホに部のスケジュールを入れてますから、ちょっと待ってくださいね。
Madoka taps away at her phone, then hands it to Aoi-san.
死闘中の学園に練習試合は申し込んでますよ。高藤と水産とはもう日程まで決まってますし、高藤との合同合宿だってバッチリです。
どれどれ？少ないな。これの倍は入れるんだ。
Double?
そんなに？
なんなら私の紹介で社会人や大学生と試合をしてもいい。
Dial it back a second. Do we really need that many practice matches?
クラシナは試合で伸びるタイプだろ。それならガンガン実戦に出した方がいい。
I can't deny that. You're probably right, but still.
それにクラシナだって試合をしたがってるように見えるぞ。
Have you spoken to her about it?
話さなくてもあの弾むような飛び方を見ていたらわかるさ。マサヤも昔はああいう飛び方をしていた。
For a moment, I shut my mouth. Assuming Asuka's the easy to teach type, what type of person is Misaki?
なんだ急に。
Just popped into my mind.
村っ気のある天才肌だろ。
I hate the phrase naturally talented. I turn to face Aoi-san, who's still observing them practice. You think she's a prodigy? She looks slightly taken aback as she turns to face me.
まさか。
Really?
天才なんてめったにいないから天才なんだ。天才らしく見える人間は無数にいるけどな。
That calm, rational side of her is just like Shirase-san. Can't you give me a more concrete explanation?
具体的にね。例えば、飛び沢がすごいのは反射神経だな。
Yes.
ドッグファイトでそれはとても有効だ。だけど、飛び沢はそれだけで勝負しすぎだろ。とっさの判断で動いているだけだ。
Yeah, we're rehashing the same sort of conversation here. You're saying that she needs to be able to read 2 or 3 moves ahead to form an actual game plan.
そういうことだ。総合力がないという意味では、飛び沢は青柳と同じタイプだな。
This is a pretty weird music. Her opinions line up with Shirase-san's, but are they correct? There's a prickling in my chest that's telling me something's not quite right. I don't think Misaki's quite as bad as they're making her out to be. I just don't know why I think that. Have you told Misaki what you just told us?
ないね。
Why not?
それはマサヤの仕事だろ。
I guess so. Aoi-san's expression stiffens a little.
選手には様々なタイプがある。だけど、突き詰めれば、選手自身にどこまでやる気があるのかということになると、私は思う。
It's got nothing to do with talent then.
ではなくてだ。どれだけ才能があっても、やる気がなかったら意味がないだろう。
Yeah, someone who's talented will for sure be taken out by someone with enough hard work. Well, at least for a while, if the talented one does do some hard work, then no way the non-talented one is gonna win, even with pure hard work. I don't know if you guys watch Naruto, but Rock Lee is the very definition of that, you know, like principle. So you're saying Misaki's an unmotivated player?
そうは言わないが、教えたことに関してそうですかと聞くタイプじゃない。私には私のやり方があると反抗するんじゃないか。
Misaki does have a more receptive side to her, but I guess the stubborn side has won out in Aoi-san's eyes. How do you teach that kind of player?
病人が自ら病院に行くには自覚症状が必要だろ。
Yeah, obviously. No one takes themselves to the doctor before they know they're sick, unless it's for a routine checkup or something.
つまり、そういうことさ。
You're saying it's her coach's job to make her realize something is wrong.
分かったのなら、そうしてやればいいさ。
So it's about awareness, really. You know, Aoi-san sure says a lot for someone that didn't do anything to us when we're quitting FC. I was made aware of my own limits in the past. My body throbs with pain like I've been stabbed all over with a knife. Were the limits I saw in myself, were they truly as far as I could go? I don't know.
飛沢を心配する気持ちもわかるが、今は練習している倉科と有坂をしっかり見てやれ。
I know. I give a huge nod and clap my cheeks to get rid of the useless thoughts swirling around inside my head. One by one, they leave me, until a single one remains. Is Misaki really as bad as Aoi-san is making her out to be? I can't find a way to either confirm or deny her statement.
今日の練習はもう終わりか。
They're just cooling down right now.
明日も見に来るよ。
You're suddenly going to come every day now that we're in summer break? She barely showed up at our practices before, so I'm surprised.
まあ、少々気になることがあってな。
Oh? I bet she means Asuka.
じゃあ私は先に帰るからあとはよろしく。
Will do.
お疲れ様です。
Madoka says that, then Aoi-san walks away.
じゃどうする？
Huh? What do you mean?
二人にスピード勝負をさせて負けたら服を1枚ずつ脱ぐ練習をするのかって話。
I don't remember that ever coming up.
二人とも結構キャイキャイ喜んですると思うけど。
Really?
あ、エロ顔した。
God damn it. I guess Masaya's really wasn't really like that. I didn't grin.
した。
I didn't. I lightly clapped Madoka in the back of the head before raising both my hands to my mouth, using it as a substitute megaphone. Okay, your 10 minutes are up. That's the end of today's practice. The two of them descend at last. Exercise builds up lactic acid inside your body, which is what makes a person feel tired. Light movements after working out help lower the concentration of lactic acid and speed up the body's self-repair systems. That's the whole idea behind cooling down. Only when you're doing cardio, really.
さっきのエロ顔のことを黙っていてほしかったら分かってるよね。
Fine. This has ended up just like it did when I peeped on them changing that one time. Now I owe Madoka something again. How does she keep getting dirt on me?
二人ともお疲れ。ほい、水分補給はしっかりね。うやー、ありがとうございます。
Mashiro takes the bottle from Madoka and starts glugging down water. During actual matches, we mix some sports drinks powder in, but normal water is enough for practices. I do think sports drink is mostly like useless. Well, then again, I got enough electrolytes in most of my meals. Like, you know, I got a lot of salt in my meals. My sodium is definitely way more than the average person. I love me some salty foods.
はい、アスカちゃんも。ありがとうございます。
But from what I hear, like, sports drink do help with people that have, you know, a lot of cramps during their exercise session, which I don't really get. Mashiro removes the bottle from her mouth with a hearty exclamation, then turns to face Asuka.
もっと豪快にごくごく飲んでいいんですよ。そうそう、女同士なんだから恥ずかしくないって。
I don't care how you drink, but I'm still here and I'm a guy.
形の上はそうですけどね。
Pretty sure I'm a guy inside too. Why do things always end up like this? Asuka hands her bottle back to Madoka.
最近あまり喉が渇かないし疲れないんです。
Madoka is crawling her hand over Asuka's back in the most bizarre fashion.
何かな。水のない砂漠でも生活できるように背中に脂肪の溜まった袋ができたりしてないかなと思って。私、ラクダに向かって進化してますか？
Rakudan? I don't know what that is. Is that actually camel? I thought it was supposed to be cavalry. You're not practicing any lesson before though.
というかむしろハードになってませんか？少しずつハードル上げてますよね。
Yeah, not by much, but I have been.
やっぱりそうやってじわりじわりと気づかないうちに私たちを締め上げていたんですね。発想がブラック企業的です。
No, that's actually a good tactic. There's nothing shady about it. Once you've mastered something, you obviously have to kick it up a notch. That's just common sense. You don't keep the training wheels on after you've learned to ride a bike, do you?
詭弁だ。
Not at all. Wait, where do you even learn that word?
練習の質が上がってるのは間違いないのに喉が渇かないっていうのは。や やっぱりラクダですか？
Relax, I've never heard of a human evolving into a camel. You're probably not thirsty because you perfected your form.
飛び方が綺麗になると疲れないんですか？
It means you're doing less, non-efficient movements. Of course, you put in way less effort when you've got your form mastered. It's beautiful now, even.
綺麗にですか？私ずーっと飛ぶの下手だったのに。
Guess you finally got the hang of it.
ありがとうございます。あんまり進まないでください。置いてかれるのは辛いんですから。
Mashiro's words are half in jest, but I find myself involuntarily twitching. Misaki. I call her name as if ruminating over it internally. Asuka's growing so much, but where are you? What are you doing?
でも、美咲ちゃんの方が綺麗に飛びますよね。
I'm brought crashing back to earth when Asuka mentions Misaki. A total coincidence, but it affects me all the same.
それはそうですよ。美咲先輩は無敵なんですから。だとしたら、綺麗に飛んでるのに疲れたって言ってたのは何なんだろうね。
I bet half of it is laziness, but the other half is because she's actually tired. Doesn't matter how good your form is, being a speeder and going all out or being a fighter and having to make constant changes in direction will wear you down.
そういうものなんだ。
You need physical strength to maintain the correct posture while accelerating, and you need to work your muscles hard to make sudden vast changes in direction. Asuka starts shaking her limbs about it like she's warming up.
基礎ができてきたって実感があまりないです。
There are some things you can't figure out without trying in a match. I know we're making up for our lack of practice matches by holding them with other schools, but we really are limited in what we can do by ourselves without Misaki. Man, what a lame excuse.
美咲ちゃんと試合をしてみたいです。久しぶりに美咲ちゃんに上下左右に翻弄されたいです。全く同感ですね。二人の言葉の中身は違うんだろうね。
I'm relieved that the conversation has played out exactly the way I wanted it to. I wonder if Misaki's at home right now. I can picture her now, rolling around in her bed, whining and moaning about how hot it is.
携帯で直接確認したらいいんじゃありませんか？
She's one of those people who doesn't care about leaving others on read, or replying to missed calls.
ですね。私の愛してますメールも冗談でごまかされるか無視されるかします。
I mean, I probably would have ignored you too, Mashiro.
それは無視されてもしょうがないんじゃないかな。
Wonder if she'd get mad if I visited her. I went over to pick up one of those exercise balls before, so I know where she lives.
押しかけてもイルスを使われてしまうのでは？おばあさんは美咲先輩に甘々ですからね。
So my best bet is to catch her while she's outside somewhere. Any ideas where she might go?
どこにいるかは日によると思いますけど。
She's not the type to go out for walks much either, huh?
確かにそうですけど。あ、そういえば前に会った時はダンスで日本一を目指すとか口走ってましたよ。
She what now?
悪性の電波が来ちゃった感のある目標だね。美咲先輩を全肯定する私でもスルーしてしまいました。
She's probably trying to find stuff to do that's not really FC to fill her mind with something. Let me get this straight. She wants to be the best dancer in Japan. Big city kids are all obsessed with their hips and their hops. What the fuck? What is this localization? But whatever that means hasn't made its way to Shito yet, I think.
あ、コーチ、もしかしてあのことじゃないですか？
Oh? Asuka comes pattering over to me, out of breath.
すみません、遅刻しました。
Only by 2 minutes? That doesn't even count.
いえ、時間は大切ですから。
She sounds so innocent. And she's not wrong either. This marks the third day straight that Asuka and I, yeah, typo there, have come to the shopping district before practice.
今日はいるでしょうか。
Won't know until we head inside. We head into the arcade that we came to previously with Misaki. It felt like a barren wasteland the last time, but it's now full of small children due to summer break. This is kinda weird, because of the amount of money these places can suck from you, but it really feels family friendly. Hey, nothing wrong with spending your money at the arcade. People spend their money at a lot of stuff. If a couple of, you know, like grand, or not grand I guess, couple of $100 can give you a lot of enjoyment at the arcade for a couple of hours, I think that's good.
相変わらずすごい音ですね。
Yeah, One sound stands out amidst the flood of electronic beeping and booping. An almost violent, super high tempo beat that I feel vibrating through my eardrums.
おお、この姉ちゃんすげえぞ。マジすげえ。ここまでパーフェクトじゃん。この曲難易度トリプル S だぞ。すげえつえ。
The kids are all staring at a pair of legs moving at ultra-high speeds on top of one of the dance game machines. Said legs belong to Misaki. I think my friend said there's no triple S in DDR. So that's probably not DDR. I think DDR only has triple A's. She giggles happily at the calls from her audience, seemingly having not noticed this. Looks like she's having fun.
そうですね。
Cute hat. I'm not sure what else to say. I thought she'd seem far more upset.
Yes.
But it looks like she's having the time of her life. How?
変な迫力がありますね。ただ遊んでるわけじゃないのかもしれません。
Yeah, I get what you mean. Maybe it's just because she's concentrating so hard, but she's got this unusual expression on her face. It's like she's trying to convince herself she's having fun even though she really isn't. When Mashiro mentioned that Misaki was dancing, this was the first thing Asuka thought of.
まだまだ行くよ。
Misaki pops some candy into her mouth and starts crunching along the sound of the beat.
お菓子食べてる。
That seems like pokey to me than candy.
余裕だ。余裕を見せてやがるぜ。かっけえ。マジかっけえ。すげえ。
Why is she wearing like a camo, like trousers? I guess she's really into that sort of thing, huh? Her audience cheers.
よーしラスト。
Her arms sway about like she's actually dancing as her feet hammer out the last few notes. Then, she ends the song by striking a victory pose.
パーフェクト。
おお、ノーミス出た。姉ちゃんすげえ。天才だ。かっけえ。全国ランキングで1位に行くんじゃね。姉ちゃんなら出せるんじゃね。
当然楽勝。体を使うゲームなら無敵だし。ほら。うわー。
In the middle of boasting to the gallery, Misaki finally notices us. And at that point, she lets out an ear-splitting scream and freezes on the spot. She steps off of the cabinet, dead silent, and pushes through her audience as she attempts to make her escape. Wait!
待ってください、美咲ちゃん。
三角関係だ。エロスだ。エロス。
These kids, what the fuck are they even talking about? I'm no player! I yell back at the kids as I dash after Misaki. This is a repeat of what happened at school. If there's a chance for her to escape, you bet your ass she'll take it. Normally, you'd expect someone to remain in the startled phase for at least a little longer though. I don't know what's more impressive. her ability to give 110% or her quick decision making, but she has all the makings of a perfect fighter. Misaki easily weaves through the crowd, bouncing on the balls of her feet. Her reflexes are just too good. Why are you running away from us? The moment Misaki steps out onto the street, she comes to a halt. We instantly realize why when we catch up with her. Right in Misaki's path of escape stands none other than...
飛沢美咲。それに日向さんと飛鳥さんも。
What a coincidence. Satoin-san and Ichinose are in her way. Please, stop Misaki! She spins around and glares at me.
見知らぬ男に追われてるんです。助けてください。
I'm not a strange man. You really think that line is gonna work on Satoin-san?
見知った男に追われてるんです。
So I'm a stalker either way, huh?
相変わらず賑やかで楽しそうですわね。全然楽しくない状態なので、とりあえず逃げるのを手伝ってもらえませんか？よくわかりませんけど、見知った相手なら話し合いで解決できるのではありませんか
I knew you'd make the right call, Satoin-san.
私はいつも正しいことしか言いませんわ。
Sure, sure. That's some confidence she's got there. Misaki groans in exasperation.
ああ、わかったって。逃げないって。こうさん、こうさん。で、マサイは私に何の用があるわけ？
Why aren't you coming to practice?
それは、そんなことどうでもいいじゃない。
You might not care, but we do. That's why we're here.
そんなこと言われても。
Asuka abruptly raises her hand into the air. What's up?
こういうことですよね。私とましろちゃんが基礎練習をしている間、美咲ちゃんはゲームを使って反射神経を鍛えていたとか。
Misaki smiles bitterly as she stares at Asuka.
私はアスカのそういうとこちょっと苦手。
Yeah, sometimes too much optimism on someone is overbearing, and I do think Asuka's is a bit overbearing.
美咲ちゃんは FC の練習をゲームセンターでしていたんですよね。違う、私はただとにかく違う。違うとしても。
Asuka leans in real close to Misaki's face.
反射神経を鍛えていたのは本当ですよね。じゃないとあんな風に動けるわけありません。
Okay, I guess that's true. Even if not for FC.
だから鍛えていたわけじゃなくて。私、コーチに飛び方が綺麗になったと言われたんです。反射神経を鍛えて強くなった美咲ちゃんと試合してみたいです。だから私は練習なんかしてないんだってば。じゃあどうしてあんな得点を出せるまでゲームしてたんですか？私には FC の練習にしか見えませんでした。だから。
Asuka, I think you've pushed Misaki far enough. Asuka looks from me to Misaki in a daze. Misaki awkwardly hangs her head.
私が美咲ちゃんを追い詰める？そんなことをしてましたか？
Asuka's viewpoint gets narrowed to the extreme when it comes to FC. On the concentration side, that's great. But there are some people who just can't handle her innocence and naivety. Sorry, but yeah, kinda. I ask Asuka to be silent for a moment with my gaze, then step up to face Misaki.
何？
How about you come to practice every once in a while? It'll help clear your mind if you get some work in.
楽
楽になるって今の私が苦しんでるみたいな言い方だね。
Are you seriously trying to tell me you're not?
そんなこと。
The pain is clear as day on Misaki's face.
そんなこと FC を辞めたマサヤに言われたくない。
Can't say anything about that. Her words shoot straight through my heart. Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't have the right to say anything. But
お取り込み中のところ申し訳ないのですけど、お話は長くなるかしら。
oh, sorry for making you hang around. We'll be fine for now, so feel free to carry on with your...
そういうわけにはいかないんです。
They can't? Have we ruined your plans somehow? I wonder if this commotion has made them miss their bus or the start of their movie or something.
そういうことではなく、
Ichinose fumbles over her words awkwardly.
私と里井先輩は皆さんに会いにそちらの学院に行く前にちょっと町に寄っていたんです。私たちに会いに？
Asuka gives me a puzzled look. Our practice matches are scheduled for next week, I'm pretty sure.
ですよね。
Satoin-san stamps her feet against the asphalt as she strikes a pose with her feet spread out wider than her shoulders.
実は私、
She flicks her long hair back like all the rich girls do in anime. Yeah, and this is not anime.
決闘を申し込みに来ましたの。
It feels like time is frozen. Satoin-san sticks her chest out proudly, arrogantly staring at us in our bewilderment. A duel? I repeat what she said to make sure I heard her right. I've never seen that word mentioned outside of stories before.
そうですわ。決闘でしたよ。
Not a match?
することは大体同じですけど、試合ではなくて決闘です。
Okay, what's different then?
まず一番違うのは心意気ですわ。
Spirit? I have no idea what she means, but the one thing I do know is that Satoin-san's blood is boiling.
町に寄ったのは赤いバラの花束を買おうと思ったからです。
What do you need roses for?
決闘に赤いバラを持っていったら素敵だと思いませんこと？
There is something wrong with your head, girl.
ついていけない。そんな目で見られても困ります。今の私にはそういうことをするつもりはないので、飛びたい気分じゃないし。
いいえ、違いますわ。私が決闘をしたいのは。
She points over at Asuka with a snap.
クラシナアスカ、あなたとの決闘を望みます。私の心の赤いバラ、あなたに託しますわ。はい、わかりました。わかりましたでいいですか？コーチ、どう答えれば。
Huh? Oh, well, a duel?
日向雅也ではなく、クラシナアスカに聞いているのです。
Asuka begins to nod her head, getting swept away with the flow as she flusters. Is this gonna demoralize Misaki again? Misaki casually laughs.
決闘なんてすごいな。頑張ってね、応援してる。じゃあそういうことで。
Wait! Don't just run away from us. We're not done talking yet.
そうです。話は終わってません。
Asuka steps out in front of Misaki to block her path and stares her down.
とりあえず今日だけでも部活に来てください。そうしてくれないと私、泣きます。
Misaki is slightly taken aback.
泣くって言われても。本当に涙をためないでよ。アスカってそういう脅しを平気でする娘さんだったんだ。来てくれないんですか、美咲ちゃん。
返しのつかない号泣をします。
These are crocodile tears, you fool. I can't believe you're buying this shit, Misaki. That would be a problem. Being next to a girl who's wailing in the street is bad enough. But staying like that until her tears run dry? That's so scary, I can't even imagine it. Asuka continues to stare straight into Misaki's eyes as she grasps one of her hands.
わかったから腕をグイグイ引っ張るな。ああもう行くだけは行くからそれでいいでしょ。本
当に来てくれるんですね。
だから行くってば。こういう時のアスカは強引なんだから。や
ったー、ありがとうございます。
そんなに喜ぶようなことじゃないと思うけど。
喜ぶようなことです。私ずっと美咲ちゃんと試合をしたかったんです。
私はただ部活を見に行くだけだから。
それだけでもいいです。
言っておくけど試合をするつもりはないよ。
美咲ちゃんと試合できるかもと思うだけで楽しい気持ちになりますから。
Satoin-san stares in exasperation as Asuka clings to Misaki.
美咲ちゃんってクラシナアスカ、あなたはこの佐藤院玲子に決闘を挑まれている自覚がありますの？不思議そうな顔をしないでほしいですわ。決闘を申し込んだはずです。挑まれている自覚があるのかと聞いていますの。いえ、ごめんなさい、分かってません。
Asuka's pure honesty leaves Satoin-san at a momentary loss for words.
今日のあなたの相手はこの佐藤院玲子。はい面白いですわね。その無邪気さに興味ありますわ。決闘受けてもらいます。ではあなたたちの練習場へ行きましょう。
Satoin-san begins walking away. Man, I'm kind of sad that Satoin-san here doesn't have a rat of her own. She'd probably be pretty interesting. She's more interesting than Mashiro in my opinion.
そういうわけですのでよろしくお願いします。
私の顔に何かついてる？
いえ、なんでもないです。
That was weird. What did she notice there? Satoin-san, you realize I'm the one in charge here. You can't just decide this by yourself.
これは練習じゃなくて決闘です。コーチの出る幕ではありませんわよ。
But what about you, Asuka? Do you really want to do this? You can always say no.
佐藤院さんと試合をしてみたいです。初めて試合をしてくれたのも佐藤院さんですから。
This could be a good chance to see how far Asuka has come. What do you think, Misaki?
私に意見を求める必要がある？
Yeah, you're a member of our club too.
いいんじゃない？
What she really means by that is, I don't care. I can tell. I turn to face Satoin-san. You get your chance in a few days, so why rush it?
合同練習の前にしておきたかったのですわ。
Yeah, but why?
新藤部長との試合。
I noticed both Asuka's and Misaki's expressions change ever so slightly upon hearing that. To put it bluntly, Asuka's face brightens while Misaki's darkens.
部長とああいう試合をした選手を放置しておくのは私のプライドが許しませんの。
What's your pride got to do with anything?
部長といい試合をしたいと願っているのはあなたたちだけではないということですわ。
So like, you're saying you do too?
ええ、死闘で FC をしているのですからそう考えるのが当たり前です。
You go to the same school and are in the same club, so why not just ask him for a match?
本気の試合でないと意味がありませんわ。そして本気で試合をしてくださいなんてお願いできるほど 恥知らずな女ではなくてよ。
The corners of Satoin-san's mouth curled in displeasure.
それに私は高藤の次期部長ですわ。最強だった前部長を追い詰めた相手にはきちんと筋を通しておく必要があるのです。
So it's about your school's honor, huh?
ええ、ちっぽけだとお思いかもしれませんが、伝統を背負うというのはこういうことなのです。
The smile Satoin-san displays is of a different nature to the one I usually see. Who knew she had this side to her? If I'm being polite, I would call it dignity. If not, it would be obsession. What grounds a person can be their team, their school, or in some cases, the person themselves. I'm definitely that last one, Messiah. When they find something that threatens that, their true nature comes to the forefront. I hated my true nature, which is why I gave up on FC. But I'm convinced that Satoin-san feels even stronger about this than Misaki or I do. Ichinose gives Satoin-san an anxious look. I doubt she's ever seen Satoin-san cause such a commotion before. Hell, this may even be the first time it's happened. This is certainly feeling more like a duel than a practice match to me. At any rate, this question's been eating away at me for a while now. It's a question I've had since I saw Asuka's first FC match with Satoin-san. A question I just can't contain at this point. And so I'll ask it. I take a step closer to Satoin-san. Satoin-san, why did you have that match with our president, Shion Aoyagi? Was that some kind of duel too?
船浜学院の院を奪うためですわ。
That's a funny joke. You know, Prez may not have been a match for you, but I bet you'd do fine against Shindo-san. I thought Prez was the only person on Shito who had a hope of beating Shindo-san. Not because of ability, but more a probability thing. If they face each other enough times, our president would eventually win. I still stand by that.
私には青柳シオンが何百回勝負しても部長に勝てるとは思えません。
As I said, it's a probability. Nothing to do with skill. If Prez gets a chance to control the match, then no one can stop him. You noticed that, didn't you, Satoin-san?
そもそもあれはそちらの部長が私に挑んできたのですから、私の考えが入る余地などありませんわ。
But you thought you'd take the opportunity to make him believe he'd never beat Shindo-san, didn't you? Unfortunately for you, Prez is too brazen for that to work.
面白くない推察です。それは日向雅也の勘違いですわ。
I apologize if I've offended you, but as far as the elite Takafuji is concerned, our president winning against Shindo-san is something that wasn't allowed to happen, right? Ichinose looks between Satoin-san and myself.
そういうことがあったんですか？終わったことですし、もうどうでもいいことでしょう。私は挑まれた決闘から逃げなかった。それだけのことで、あとは日向雅也の想像です。
True? Maybe I am just imagining things. Satoin-san doesn't seem like the kind of person to do that. However, I can tell she's harboring powerful emotions beneath that strong expression of hers. And that's why she's shown up here.
今は倉科明日香と試合がしたい。それだけですわ。
佐藤院さんって高藤のガードマンだったんだ。
ですからそれは日向雅也の想像です。
Satoin-san, who's been walking ahead of us, makes a sudden turn.
何ですか？
飛沢美咲、あなたは悔しくないのかしら。
Misaki returns Satoin-san's pressuring gaze with a wry smile.
悔しいって？
倉科明日香が自分よりも新藤部長といい試合をしたことがです。そんなことありません。倉科明日香はああ言っているけど、あなたはどう思うのかしら。
何も思わないけど。
本当にそう思うのかしら。
もうしつこいな。思わないって言ったじゃない。
あくまで倉科明日香と自分を比べる気はないと。
全然興味ないな。
She's totally lying. Of course she's comparing herself to Asuka.
そういうのならそれでいいですよ。
Satoin-san turns to me instead.
それでは行きましょう。あなたたちの練習場へ。
Damn, she was actually being super straightforward to Misaki there. A bit too blunt in my opinion too. I think I am actually going to stop the episode at this point. I feel like if I were to continue with the duel, it would go a bit too long. So I actually don't know how long these episodes might go for now. Or I guess I'm trying to actually do the chapters in a couple of episodes, right? But ever since the last chapter, it's kind of unknown whether or not they're gonna be finished in 2 episodes of my recording sessions. So I feel like it's not a good thing for me to try and just go past 2 hours way too much. So I think right now is actually a good stopping point. I am enjoying this still, but I do enjoy it a lot more when it goes to the sports stuff. But I do like the things that we learn about Misaki. I feel like her frustrations are really... what's the word I'm looking for? Like very down to earth? Is that the saying that I'm looking for? It's basically frustrations that everyone can relate to, right? Well, the thing that we can't relate to is just the fact that Misaki is a so-called genius. But I mean, when your idol gets stomped by someone other than you, then you probably feel the same sort of frustration, I guess. But yeah, so far I'm really enjoying it, and I guess we know now what the hell happened to Messiah, and I can understand why he did what he did. Simply because he was much younger at the time, true. But just like what he said, right? Even he himself, if that were to happen while he was right now, like, you know, when he's much older, I don't think he actually would have stopped. He probably would have gotten a hold of his emotions a lot more. So that is interesting. A lot of the stuff that's here is actually grounded by a lot of reasoning, which I like. Because sometimes a lot of stories just pull stuff out of their ass, and I really hate that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give this video a like if you guys like it. Sub if you guys haven't. Patreon will be getting these episodes early access along with everything uncensored. Which still, 13 episodes, or I guess this is the 14th episode. And still nothing. I assume we're probably going to be coming to an H scene at some point because we are on some of the girls' routes right now. So yeah, maybe in another episode or two, we might be getting into H scene territory. Also, Patreon now has free members, so for people that want to see the previews for all future playthroughs' first episodes, do join me on Patreon as a free member. And I'll see you on the next one.